Good to go. Cool. Good morning, ladies and gents. Apologies for the delay there, but we are going live via social media, so we're just waiting for a few people to get through to us. One of them being Jordan Pepper, who's phoning from Europe to join us, and of course, Stephane Ratel will be also joining us via video link today as well. For all the media and the press that are here, if you are looking to pass us on to any social media platforms that you have, we are going live via the Kyalami 9-hour Facebook page. So if you want that link, it is up there, and you can go straight onto the Facebook page and basically forward and share and like that link and pass it on to anybody else that might not be here with us today. But officially, a massive welcome to everybody here to a very exciting concept that's been in the making for a long, long time. Having been on the ground here at Kyalami on a few occasions and seen the amount of effort that Toby and his team have put into this, along with SRO and all the other parties that have joined in, it is just incredible to see that we're only a couple of weeks away. And another big international event is making its way back home here to South Africa, because I think that the home of South African Motorsport, there's no doubt, is here at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. Just to let you know that all of our protocols have been addressed, and we have also observed all the protocols with our special guests being here today, and it's fantastic to have the man in front of me here today as well. You're looking pretty good there, sir, in your Kyalami kit, eh? Did you make a plan with that, I think, eh? I don't know how you managed to get that. I've been here for almost 22 years. I've never got a Kyalami cap ever, so you must be pretty special, eh? But a big welcome to you, Mr. Mashaba. Thank you so much for being here. Your Worship, it's fantastic to have you here. We do appreciate your time. I know that you're a busy man. Mr. Toby Fenter as well. Thank you for taking your time out as well, sir. And to Adam Brown, who's stepping in on behalf of the other CEO of Kyalami 9-hour. Unfortunately, Tom Pearson-Adams is ill at the moment, so we wish him a speedy recovery. He wasn't able to be here. The bronchitis got to him, so he hasn't got a voice, which is why he's got Adam to step in and give him an assistance today. So a big welcome to our special guests, to all the media, and to all our friends from Kyalami, and to our new friends from the media as well that may not be motor-related. It's nice to see that an event like this brings in alternative media and, of course, mainstream media that don't usually cover motorsport. We're not quite sure why, because it is the most exciting sport in the world, and hopefully you'll get to see that when you see what you can see on screen right now coming this way and along this straight on your left-hand side at close to 280 to 300 kilometers an hour. So it's definitely something you want to be looking forward to. We have got a few presentations to get through today. One of them we'll be kicking off with, of course, is the Facebook link. We've already gone on live on that. But we do have a video message that's come in from Stephane Ratel, the SRO CEO, and we're going to play that for you guys now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome from Barcelona, where we're attending the last round of the Blancpain GT Series in Europe. I really regret not to be able to be with you in Kyalami today to announce the revival of the Kyalami 9 hours. It's a very important event for GT racing in general and for the Intercontinental GT Challenge in particular. I really want to thank my friend Herman to have introduced me to circuit owner Toby and to event promoter Tom Pearson Adams, and to have contributed to form this partnership for the revival of this great event. I was blessed and honored to race at Kyalami myself in 2000 in the Lamborghini Super Trophy, and it was a personal dream to bring back GT racing to South Africa. The Intercontinental GT Challenge is the perfect platform to do it. It's a combination of 5 great events on all 5 continents. We started the season with the Bathurst 12 hours in Australia. We continued it with the California 8 hours at Laguna Seca. Then you have the famous Total Spark 24 hours in Belgium. Then you go on, we went on for the Suzuka 10 hours in Japan, and we're finishing in Africa. And in Africa there is one circuit where to do it, a very prestigious circuit and a very prestigious event with the Kyalami 9 hours. With your support, with the support of the South African public, we hope to recreate an absolutely classic in motorsport for the many years to come. Thank you very much.
Council, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. A very warm welcome to Kyalami today. It's a great day today for us to announce at this press conference that the 9 hours is actually going to happen on the 23rd of November. As you heard from Stephane, Ratel, it is the final round of the World Championship, the Intercontinental GT World Championship. And they were very grateful to have the African continent as the 5th continent to make it a true world championship. Hopefully Formula One will do the same. Most of you in this room have got a personal Kyalami story. Some of the older guys like Stuart Johnson there told me from 1966, Andre de Kock, 1974, where he left the house for the first time, came to Kyalami, got inebriated, had a great time, and decided what he wanted to do for the rest of his life, and a lot of other things. So Kyalami has that magic, and everybody should have a Kyalami story. So it's wonderful that we're going to rekindle those great international events, and the 9 hour being now the first one in all the years. So just to give you, constructed in 1961, the original Kyalami circuit quickly developed into the premier motorsport facility in Africa as the host circuit for the annual 9 hour endurance races held in November of each year. Kyalami attracted many famous sports car teams and drivers. Indeed, the very first event was won by a Porsche 550 Spider driven by John Love in 1961. The original Kyalami circuit was regarded as one of the greats and was one of the most challenging of its day. Kyalami was also a very popular venue for Formula One, the first of which was hosted in 1967 and won by Pedro Rodriguez. And I was in John Love's pit when he came second by the narrowest of margins, having to pit for a faulty fuel pump whilst in the lead. As a 12-year-old boy, that made a great impression on me. And if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be here today, and we all wouldn't all be here today. This would be a housing development or a shopping centre development, and such is how things happen and how history is made. Other motorsports legends enjoyed success at Kyalami, and the 20 Grand Prix that were hosted here, including Jackie Stewart, Nicky Lauda, Jack Brabham, Mario Andretti, Nigel Mansell, Alain Prost, and of course, our very own Jody Scheckter, who won the World Championship now 40 years ago for Ferrari, and there was a huge reunion in Monza where he drove his original car around the track, and he was very proud that he fitted into his original race suit. So, 2014, Kyalami was in trouble. It was up for auction, and I said to my team, you know, let's go to the auction. My financial director and group property manager, Andrew Baldwin, which was here, thought I was mad. And they said, we will never have a chance. I said, but if you don't go, you haven't got a chance. The stars aligned, and Roger McCleary remembers it well. We were the successful bidder, against all odds, because of various reasons, the property guys stayed away. They saw trouble with the previous owners that were in litigation with the banks, and there were only two bids. The first bid was the bank, and we were the second bid. And Jessica and I were on a press event with most of you journalists here in the Western Cape, and I was on the cell phone bidding, and I was bidding against myself. Eventually David Rousseau said, stop bidding, you're bidding against yourself. Anyway, it was a wonderful occasion and a thrill, and when we stopped along the side of the road to celebrate the fact that we had bought Kyalami, the responsibility dawned on me. Now we've got to make it work, and we've got to make a success of it. And Kyalami is a national icon. It's a South African treasure. If you go overseas, people know Kyalami before most other things about South Africa. So it's very special that we've been able to do what we did. So the Otifenta group bought Kyalami in 2014, and a lot of work needed to be done. The place was run down, and our first objective was to make sure that this would be financially viable, and never again would we have to go to an auction and save Kyalami. And that needed a sound business model. So this Kyalami has now been turned into a showcase for the city of Johannesburg and for the whole of South Africa. And you'll see over there, in this beautiful graphic, we got the city of Johannesburg in the background there specifically. So, of course, we always hope to attract international motorsport back to Kyalami. But the financial model first had to work. And I'm happy to say that since the circuit reopened and was available for hire, the last few years, it's been a hard slog, but the financial model is stable and it is working. And Kyalami is secure. This is a FIA graded racetrack, and we decided to add conference facilities, but not to the extent that would be a racetrack with conference facilities. We wanted world-class conference facilities that also had a racetrack. We've hosted some fantastic events here. I'm not going to mention all of them, but as diverse from banking to food and music festivals. Kyalami has become the matrix of a business ecosystem for entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs such as food stalls flourish, while event staging companies create thousands of employment opportunities. In addition to the increasing number of permanent employees, and international national events support hotels, restaurants, and the broader tourism industry. The Kyalami 9-hour event will be televised and streamed live via the World Wide Web to the far corners of the globe. The excellence of the entire Kyalami precinct, designed and constructed by South African companies, will be seen by hundreds of thousands of people, maybe even millions. Young, talented drivers, some of whom you will talk to in a few minutes, honed their talents on the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit and now race for international teams. The Kyalami 9-hour curtain raiser races will surely be the focus of international team managers keen to spot new talent. Kyalami is not only about rekindling fond memories and creating a new legacy, but also about shaping the future of South Africa, which is in a difficult position at the moment. The OT Venter group of companies is invested in South Africa and ready for the future, whatever that may bring, actively and boldly contributing to the financial growth of Johannesburg and beyond. The Kyalami team understand that they are privileged to serve South Africa in this manner, practically demonstrating our commitment to sustainable financial growth in South Africa through local support and international relevance. So I just want to, at this point, thank the Kyalami team and the team from the OT Venter group of companies. Everybody, there's some very, very hardworking, talented people that made this happen. And without them, it wouldn't have happened. So thank you for that, and welcome to Kyalami again. Have a lovely time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Venter. I hope there's also going to be some negotiations with World Superbikes and MotoGP. Being a biker, I need to make sure that they're getting here too. But it's exciting times. And of course, to take you through the most exciting part about how things have gone, I'm going to ask Adam Brown to come and join me now, just to take you through how Kyalami 9-hour has come about and everything that they've done to put the impacts in place that's going to make this event world-class. Adam?
Thank you very much. Great, cheers. Thank you very much, Toby. Executive Mayor, Johannesburg City, media, and I believe the get out of jail term is all protocol reserved. You may notice that I have a Manchester accent. I am the lucky one that came here in 2005 around a small event called the FIFA World Cup. I look around the room, I can actually see a few colleagues from back then that had a big impact on delivering that event. My job today was to come here and introduce Mr. Tom Pearson-Adams, who's the CEO of the 9-hour, the Kyalami 9-hour. He is the guy from our side that has really put the hours in over the last few months in delivering what is going to be, I believe, one of the most amazing events. An international motor racing event, one where we've got people coming from around the world, but importantly as well from our side, is going to be a good few days of entertainment. We're going to entertainize the event. We're going to create content around this event, and we're going to make it something that we can put out to Africa and the rest of the world that shows exactly what we're doing here in Johannesburg, in South Africa, and how we can really put an event on that people can be proud of. I can stand up here and make a comment like that because I've got the easy job. I normally just stand up and introduce people. Today, it's going to look like I'm taking the credit for what's been done, and I'm going to take you through a presentation. We have press packs. Lizelle, who's our general manager over here, if you'd like to come out just very quickly, just introduce you to Lizelle. Like everything, there's always somebody in the background that's been running around from early hours putting all these things together. She's put the press pack together. All the information, all the detail that you require from a press perspective is on hand there for you. Tom Pearson-Adams, we've got his email address here. I've put his mobile number on there because I figured he can sit at home in bed feeling ill and sorry for himself, but he can't get away with getting a few phone calls from the press. So I encourage you guys to ring him, email him, ask your questions. I think that's what we call revenge. So behind Tom, and I know I'm stepping outside of the timelines a little bit, but I think it is important to talk about this. Behind Tom, we've got an amazing group of individuals that are event producers. We've got IP and experience that I've done 3 Ryder Cups, I've done 4 FIFA World Cups, and I'm not misleading you when I tell you the pleasure it is to have found a South African team that have got the skill set and the ability to deliver events that they do. A lot of the guys that work with us on the Kyalami 9 Hour also deliver the delicious Food and Music Festival. I don't know if any of you have had the pleasure of going to the delicious Food and Music, a world-class event. Again, something that's been taken out to the world to say, look at where we are in South Africa, look at what we're doing from a city. And of course, we're stood here in a venue. Mr. Venter has talked you through the history of the Kyalami venue. What a pleasure to be able to sit here as a promoter and know that you're delivering your events with a venue that's this. When you look out the window, the control room that we're sitting up here, this is going to be the race control room. This is where we're going to have the guys on the day when we've got 30 plus cars flying around the circuit, which is an iconic circuit. And we're going to be broadcasting that not only to the world through our international broadcast with SRO, but with Supersport, 18 hours of live broadcast across the Friday and the Saturday, Pan-Africa. So we are literally taking this event out to Africa, and we're going to showcase the best that we can as to what we're doing here. So if we can just move forward on this very quickly. It's an international event. We are hosting the final event in an intercontinental racing challenge. We've got teams here, if you look through the list, and again, like I said, in your press packs, you will have all the detail, a lot more detail than we've got on here. I'm not going to pretend to be able to tell you the detail from where I'm stood, so I'll rely on you to go and have a look. But just a very quick glimpse here, not even talking to the cars. We've got teams coming here from Germany, from Hong Kong, from Austria, from Australia. We've got manufacturing teams coming here. We've got private teams coming here. I think when we worked through the figures, we got something like 500 international drivers and support people coming here just to deliver this event from a race perspective. They're all going to be going back and talking about this. They're all going to go back to their countries, and if we do our jobs right, they're going to be going back to their countries telling people to come to South Africa, come to Johannesburg. This is a cool place to be, which it is. The cars that we move through to that are participating with this, these are the I don't actually need to say anything, do I really? They say a picture tells 1,000 words. I think, yeah, I know the motorheads in the rooms are going to get that. Hopefully the guys from entertainment events will also see. Again, what a canvas to work with when we're trying to get people excited around coming and attending an event like this. Stunning cars. The venue, I just want to talk through this very quickly with you. This is, some of you probably haven't seen Kyalami like this. We've got the lovely pictures of the conference centre. We get some lovely aerials of the track. This is how it comes down to when you're actually delivering an event. I believe we're putting on the biggest international event in the country on the 23rd of November. Not only because of the international people coming in, but also the extent of the event that we're putting on. If you look at the green area around the outside, what Tom and the team have spent a lot of time doing is looking at how can we get as much involvement in the event. How can we open up Kyalami? How can we open up motor racing? How can we open up the GT Intercontinental final race of the season to as many people as possible? And to do that, the challenge that we have, that they didn't have in Spa with 24 hours, where they put a ticket price on, and everybody buys one ticket price, and they come and get involved. We've got multiple ticket prices from as low as 200 rands for a ticket to get in and watch a 9-hour event with entertainment, as high as an exclusive hospitality. Within the hospitality packages, we've actually curated the hospitality packages in a way where people can access hospitality at a relatively low level as well as a high exclusive level. So trying to very much cater for as many people that stand up and say, you know what, what's this all about? We're not just expecting people that remember the 9 hour back in 83, I believe was the last one. I stand corrected. But we're looking to get people that have never been to motorsport before. We're looking to reintroduce the passion that the guys in this room have for motor racing. And we're looking to show that this is a weekend of family fun. It's a weekend of serious motorsports fans. It's a weekend of people that want to come and be entertained and be a part of the festival that is going to be the 9 hour at the end of November. As you move to the inside, to try and give you some view, I'll just walk over here. We're sat here, which is obviously the race control room. Everybody can look behind and you can see the track going up behind you, which is coming up to the corner here. The green area around the outside general access, we will be putting food tenders on there. We're getting involved very much with a lot of the entrepreneurial, the food trucks, the food and beverage providers. They'll be getting access into the general access area to provide a service to the people that are bringing and buying the general access at the lower cost ticket. There'll be grandstands that are going to be provided for those fans as an option. We're putting 40,000 people into the green area. You know, we can't give grandstand seating for 40,000 people. It's impossible. So we do have to create, and we created another category that allows people, should they want to buy into a grandstand seat and have access to be able to watch the race from a grandstand. Or they can bring a blanket, put it onto the amazing banks that we have around the track and watch the race from there. A lot of the terms and conditions around the ticket sales, again, you'll have all this within your press pack, so I'm going to keep it as short as I can. The good news for you is you got the better looking one. I mean, you saw Tom's photo. The bad news is I have got the ability to talk beyond I should do, so I'm waiting for Lizelle to tell me to shut up at the right point. In here, we've got a mixture of hospitality. And again, when I talk about hospitality, we've heard about the racing. I don't think anybody is more qualified to stand up and talk about motor racing and the Kyalami track than Mr. Venter. We've got the guys within the rooms that know more about motor racing than I'll probably ever know. But what I can tell you about is how we're going to bring in other elements to the race, because it's a long 2 days. We've got some great stuff happening on the Friday. We've got some great stuff happening on the Saturday. We've got hospitality, which is directed at what we call the fan zone, which is pointing towards the DJs. I think I've got a slide coming up, where I'm going to talk to those ones, so I'll cut through it. The schedule you can see here, we've got the Volkswagen Cup. No, I can move on. I can talk through this later in the other parts. We got the Volkswagen Cup that we're going to actually put on the Polo Cup, which is going to be happening on the Friday as a support race. The support race being probably the biggest national motor racing this year, the Polo Cup. So we're really privileged to be able to use that as a support race. Not only that, again, like the SRO GT Intercontinental, it's the final race of the season. So this is when the guys are winning the cups. This is when the drivers are getting on the season podium around that. So we're very excited about that. We got pit lane walks. We got hot laps. I don't know if anybody's had the chance to get in a hot lap. I was lucky enough in Spa at the 24 hours to do a hot lap. It was interesting. I recommend. It's money well spent. The pit lanes, the ability for people to buy into that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get down close to where the cars are, to see what the action is happening within the pit area and experience all that. And then obviously we've got the qualifyings going on the Fridays and certain speed laps, etc. around that. I think I've missed anything else, have I? No? Okay, we can move on. On the Saturday, again, ultimately leading up to the 9 hours. I think the clue's in the title. It's 9 hours of racing. It's going to be going on, we're starting the race midday. And the reason we're doing that, obviously, is it then takes us into the night. So we're going to get into the situation where we've got some nice night racing going on, which again, when I saw it at Spa, is pretty exciting stuff to see. Around there, we got the classic cars, where we're going to do a Legends Parade. You're going to see some of the classic cars coming up in a second, and again, giving people the opportunity to do a grid walk. So when the cars are coming to line up for the race, we're going in, you'll be able to get special tickets to be able to go and be a part of that. Again, in my mind, I had the chance to do it in Kyalami, once in a lifetime opportunity that a lot of people haven't had the opportunity to do at this level for a long time. So we're very excited about that. Volkswagen Polo Cup, I think I did talk to this before. Again, we are very excited to partner with this. And I think it's a race that people are really going to enjoy coming to see on the event. Classic cars, again, just to give you an idea, all this is going to be in your press pack. You don't need to panic about it. You'll have access to this imagery, etc., for any releases you want to do. But again, the history of not just Kyalami as a track, which I know firsthand from a Formula One point of view, from the GT racers point of view, this is a track they want to drive on. We've got a couple of local South African racers that have been in intercontinental races before. They're going to come on and say something in a minute, so I'm not going to steal their thunder. But this is an iconic track, and it is where people want to come and race cars. So as a promoter, we're in a very privileged position to know that the guys are wanting to come here. This excites me immensely. Pule, who I believe we've got Pule here, is also going to talk in a little while. So again, we've got Pule sat over there, sorry about there. Soweto Drifters. I'm going to leave it for Pule to talk you through this, but where we're excited, again from a promoter point of view, when we say that we really want to make this entertainment, we want to make this a festival, we want to make this about people seeing motor racing, motorsport, and getting into what we're going to be doing. We're here for 10 years, guys. We're here for 5 years, plus 5 years going on from there. So this is something that we want to really grow with the market. We want to really grow with the industry and obviously with our partners and the venues into something very, very special. They do some stunning stuff. This is part of what motorsport is about in South Africa. These guys are really entertaining every single week, out there working to get enthusiasts, to get people to buy into what we're talking about here, which is motorsport, and get it going. So we're incredibly excited about bringing that into it. Classic Car Parade, again, we've got some amazing cars we're going to be bringing around, again, just trying to get those motorsport juices going and get people excited around it. Okay, go-karts. This is something that I'm quite excited about, and luckily my kids are quite excited about as well. We're putting a go-kart track into the inside arena where people have got the option and the ability to go and actually, across the 2 days, do some motor racing. We're opening it up on the Thursdays. We've got corporates that could come in and actually do some of the go-kart racing as corporate events as well, take over the track for a period of time. We want to get people in. We want to get them to buy into what we're doing, so we've got them with us for the next 10 years. Proper go-karts, these aren't little ones that you're going to put your 2-year-old in. We've got adult go-karts that, believe me, go at speed. I think Clint, one of our producers, went round one in the other day. He's still shaking from it. We've got children go-karts that are going to keep the kids entertained and involved in it as well. Let's get them in early. Who knows, we could have the next GT racer coming out of that go-kart at some point in the future. This is something that I talked to earlier on, but it is something that, again, from a promoter point of view, and we normally apologise for being part of the promotion. I'm very proud to be part of this promotion. We've worked very hard and extremely exciting. Black Coffee, probably one of our best known South African entertainment artists around the world. This is a guy that's getting flown to New York. He's got a residency in Ibiza. You put tickets on sale to go to one of his concerts, people come in their masses. The cost of the ticket for somebody to come and see Black Coffee on the day with the cars and the racing going on around them in the fan zone is on par to what you'd pay to go to a Black Coffee concert. he's really come to the table in supporting of what we're doing. He's incredibly excited about what we're doing as a Kyalami 9 Hour. He's incredibly excited what it means to go out to the rest. So much so that we are launching Africa is Not a Jungle. We're actually launching a worldwide tour that is Africa is Not a Jungle by Black Coffee at the race in November. Stand alone, that's something for us to get excited about. But add on an international motor race with GT cars flying around, I'm almost getting too excited. Alongside him, we've got some great local artists, we've got some great DJs, we've got some very well-known bands, all happening in the fan zone, all got options of tickets to go and watch it, be part of that fan zone. We can put 20,000 people into the fan zone in the inner circle in total. I think actually there's about 15,000 that can actually be present within the stage area, being a part of the actual concerts as they go on. The key thing for me again here is that entertainment side of it all. It's 2 days, 2 days of content, 2 days of racing. We really want people to come here and spend 2 days of enjoying themselves, watching the racing, getting involved in the shows, and what Black Coffee's got to bring. Social economic impact. Again, these things are going to be within your press release. I'm not going to go through the whole slide at this point. We've had the privilege of working with the city for a good few months now, and it really has been a pleasure. I can't talk to a lot of the stuff that we're actually going to be doing together at this point in time. It will be something that will be announced as we move forward into the event. But we've been working very closely, and I can see two Maloungs around here from the city's department. How do we take this 5 years, this 10 years, and make sure that we drive a legacy back into this city and this country and what we're doing? How do we work with the city going forward in driving that legacy around skills development, about actually ensuring that what is 3 days on the Kyalami track in November actually becomes 12 months of the year for the next 10 years? How do we help to drive value outside of this track, outside of this race, back into the guys that are coming in to be a part of it and supporting this race in the way they are? And I think we've got some well, I know we've got some incredibly exciting ideas that are really starting to come to fruition now with the support of the city. We're looking to drive that in. So I'd like to thank them for that. Right, this is the point when I turn to Lizelle, make sure I've not missed anything. You happy? We're going to play the video for you. Hopefully this is going to give you reinforcement of what I've been trying to portray to you, that we are party people as well as motorsport people. Thanks.
Returns. South Africa's endurance race is back. Welcome to the Kyalami 9 Hour. Incredible GT3 race cars. The world's best GT drivers. Plus entertainment for the whole family. All in Joburg for the Intercontinental GT Challenge season finale. "37 years in the making, but the wait is almost over. Reserve your tickets for November the 21st to the 23rd at kyalami9hour.com.
There we go. Okay, I hope that gave you a taste of what's going on. We are going to go to question and answer at a later date, but I'm just going to hand back to you to proceedings. Thank you.
Well, that didn't get you going. I don't know what will, because there's some really exciting concepts that are being put together along with the motorsport that's going to happen out on track. But of course, without the support of the city of Johannesburg, this would not be possible. And as I said earlier on, it is fantastic to have his worship here. So I'm going to ask Mr. Herman Mashaba to come and join me. and just take a small address. We are going to have a chance to take some questions and answers afterwards. We've got a panel that's going to come and join me up front here, so just hang tight, and I'll ask His Worship to come up and say a few words. Thank you, sir.
CEO of Kyalami Grand Prix, Circuit, Mr. Toby Fente and your beautiful wife, Jennifer. MMC for ESID, my colleague, Nico Diache, another colleague for Economic Development, Leonot, co-chairman of 9 Hour, Mr. Adam Brown, co-chairman of 9 Hour, Mr. Fernando Ruda, and members of the media. Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to address all of you this morning, with just under 2 months before the return of this historic event after almost 4 decades absence. The city of Johannesburg is equally as excited as you are for the return of Kyalami 9 Hour to South Africa, and in particular to Johannesburg. To have our Kyalami Grand Prix circuit host this motorsport event alongside the California 8-hour total sport, 24 hours of Spa, but here's the 12-hour and Sukuza 10 hours is a momentous achievement by SRO Motorsports and the entire team that worked to get here. Again, I would like to congratulate you on this. This should also be a proud moment for Kyalami Raceway owner, Mr. Toby Fente. Today, we'd like to congratulate you too. This is yet another world-class event being staged at an equally world-class facility, as all of us are aware. From the 21st to the 23rd of November, the Kyalami 9 Hour at Johannesburg Kyalami Grand Prix circuit will not only relaunch international motorsport in South Africa, but will also remind the world that Johannesburg is not merely a stopover destination. As the economic hub of South Africa and home to top-class facilities like the Kyalami circuit, the city of Johannesburg proudly endorses this highly anticipated event. This true spirit impact the Kyalami 9 Hour has on the city of Johannesburg must not be underestimated. The city continued to place itself firmly as a major player on the world stage, and this is cemented by economic events like this being hosted here this morning. Just this past week, I attended the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz in Sandton, and it is not only a reminder of a tremendous appetite for entertainment here, but the talent to be able to pull off such huge events. When I was elected as the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg just about 3 years ago, of the key motivations for this new administration was to stimulate the economy and bring about employment opportunities for the millions of people who call the city home. This is our most daunting task in turning around the city, the job of making it a safe and livable home for each and every resident. In securing the African leg of the series, you have been able to make Johannesburg part of the conversation again when it comes to global motorsport events of this high caliber. The attention will surely bring with it a great number of tourists into Johannesburg. These are people who do not only want to see local stars like Kevin van der Linde driving his Audi or Johan Pepper in his Bentley as they battle against drivers from the likes of Aston Martin, Lamborghini or Ferrari, but they also want to be able to bring their families to experience the array of lifestyle-related offerings. They want good food and drinks, they want good music, and they want their children to also come along. I'm told that around 120,000 spectators are expected over the race weekend, and that is a great opportunity to capitalize on the incoming visitors for us to our city. Throughout September, we celebrated Tourism Month, and we again made it clear how great a focus on the tourism industry could play a major role in attracting further investments and driving economic growth in our city. Indeed, the Gauteng demand in performance statistics for 2018 indicate a growth of 7.4% from the 2016 to 2018, which is a total of 3.8 million visitors. This is in line with the MasterCard Global Destination Cities Index, which has ranked Johannesburg Africa's most visited city since 2013. Encouragingly, the city of Johannesburg facilitated the record-breaking 17.3 billion rands in investment into the city in the 2018-2019 financial year. This is very encouraging, and we will continue to work on growing this figure as much as possible. However, if we are to continue to see such growth, we need to be able to guarantee value for money. We need to be able to promise safety of residents and visitors across all 7 of Johannesburg's regions. Indeed, the city is ready to do its part in hosting the 120 expected spectators to this event. We will ensure their safety is not compromised, and we appreciate that the Kyalami 9 Hour has placed such importance on this critical issue. I'm certain that visitors will experience a safe and thrilling weekend of motorsport. I would like to congratulate the SRO Motorsport Group and its partners, 9 Hour, for working hard to bring this tremendous racing event to our city of Johannesburg. By doing this, we are also instilling the pride in the residents of Johannesburg, who will all become hosts to our many international visitors expected to arrive here in just under 2 months. Though we acknowledge that a lot of work still needs to be done to address various shortcomings, we cannot deny the unifying power of sport in our country. It is a phenomenon that cuts across all dividing lines. This is exactly what our country and this city needs at a time when division has become more apparent. Ladies and gentlemen, the socio-economic impact of the Kyalami 9 Hour is substantial. This is clearly illustrated by the 12,000 people that will be directly employed by the Kyalami 9 Hour project. A further 5,000 job opportunities are being created through engagements with accommodation, food, beverage, transport, retail, and tourism sectors. This means that a total of 17,000 jobs are being created by this event, and we'd like to thank you for that. The event will also draw 60 to 100 small food vendors to cater to the event. In addition to the above, through partnership with the Kyalami 9 Hour, the city hopes to introduce a dynamic legacy program that will see a medium to long-term investment into education and infrastructure. This will be done through hubs aimed at motorsport mechanic skills development in previously forgotten areas. Finally, the estimated financial stimulus into surrounding areas from visitors coming from abroad and from other provinces is expected to be around 75 million rands. From Gauteng residents, this number is expected to be around 40 million rands. This is phenomenal by any standards, especially when you consider that the 9 Hour is set to run every year for the next 5 years at the Kyalami circuit, and that Johannesburg will reap these benefits every single year. I have no doubt that it will be a chapter we look back on proudly. On a closing note, I'd like to congratulate our own Kevin van der Linde, who alongside his teammate recently helped secure the ADEC GT Masters Team Championships for the HCB Run Track Racing. Your achievement on the track have made us all proud as South Africans. Well done, gentlemen. I think I also like to really close off speech to just indicate to you when our group communication team raised this matter a few weeks ago. And I said to them, there is just no way, this is no-brainer. The country is going through a difficult period economically. We'll be lucky if this country will enjoy a 1% economic growth. With 39% unemployment, I think all of us in public service, they've got a responsibility to assist in driving the economy of the country. And when I took over, one of my mayoral priorities out of the 9, the first one is actually focus on economic growth. And to grow the economy, we need the private sector. When this matter was brought to my attention about this event, I was overwhelmed. I thought perhaps people are playing games with me because people are despondent, people don't believe in South Africa any longer. But this inspired me, and I'm really so proud to be standing in front of you today to say thank you, because you did not have to do this. Because if South Africa is not prepared to recognize the role of the private sector will take their money somewhere else. So thank you very much for having the confidence in the city of Johannesburg. Thank you very much for having the confidence in our country, because we recognize the role that the private sector can play in creating opportunities for our people, for the over 10 million unemployed people, so that we can grow this economy and create an excitement in the process. So I'm really excited. I can't actually wait. If there was a way that I can actually wind at this date so that we can have this tomorrow, I can assure you I will do that. Thank you very much.
Just before you go, Your Worship, I believe that you have a small presentation to make here to Toby and his team. This is the official endorsement of the event from the city of Johannesburg. I'm going to ask you just to step across to the banner wall there, just to make that for us. There will be a chance to get photos, and of course we have got our official photographer. We'll get you official photographs of this as well if you need it for any of your releases. But there you have it. The city of Joburg has officially endorsed the Kyalami now, and I think that's a massive, massive win for motorsport in general. While the mayor's there as well, this backdrop wall is going to be signed as we get into the event by every single one of the drivers involved and any of the big VIPs that come and join us too. So our very first VIP to join us today, of course, is His Worship, and we're going to ask you, sir, if you wouldn't mind, to be the first signature up on the banner wall. Make it as big as you want, sir. Fantastic. Lovely stuff. Thank you so much. I'm going to then ask our panel to please just come and join me up top here. Genaro is here. I know Pule is here. Thank you, sir. I'm not sure if Mike Rowe has made it here, but if he hasn't, of course, I can talk on his behalf, being part of Volkswagen Polo Cup. And I know we're going live to Jordan, so I'll ask our EFX team to sort of get Jordan on standby. And please can I ask Adam and Toby to come and join me as well, please. I'm going to go handheld for this because I don't want to keep walking back and forth, because this is our Q&A, and if you do have any questions of your own
We're going to wing you.
that you'd like to ask the panel, we do have microphones available. So please, when you do ask any questions, if we'd just like to give us your name, your publication or media house, or if you're on social media, where you're coming from, just so that we can get that out and people can see who you are. You are going to be on part of our live discussion as well. We've heard from Toby, we've heard from Adam. I'm going to kick things off with Pule, if you don't mind, because here's a man that I've also watched for a long, long time, watching him initially at Westbank Raceway at one point, but he's gone a huge distance from those days and has created something quite unique with the Soweto Drift Academy. So Pule, would you mind just kicking us off and tell us about that exciting concept that you've got with the Drift guys?
Okay, thank you very much. And the Honorable Mayor, Mr. Toby, and the media and my colleagues on the panel. My name is Pule. I'm a founder and the CEO of Soweto Drift Academy. Soweto Drift was founded in 2010. And ever since then, we have been in various discussions with Motorsport South Africa, the city of Johannesburg, and many other stakeholders, just to make sure that eventually we get to have a stake in the motorsport for the guys that actually does spinning. And spinning, obviously, a lot of people have actually have their own interpretation of what it is. But in actual fact, spinning is motorsport now. It's recognized by Motorsport South Africa. And this happened, obviously, like I said, in 2010. And over the years, obviously, there's been horrifying clips that were seen by people and the public on media and so forth about spinning. But over and above that, unfortunately, the legal one and the professional one and the one that actually brings change into the community and bringing our underprivileged young people into motorsport mainstream, they are not being shown, you know. So as Soweto Drift Academy and other organizations within car spinning, we have made it a point that we modernize this thing, we package it, and we bring in some stakeholders that can actually assist us with safety precautions and so forth, and make sure that then we can actually drive this thing safely, professionally, and have an impact in our community. So Soweto Drift has been one of those organizations at the heart of making that happen, at the heart of changing policy in our government to make sure that eventually they recognize car spinning. It was not easy. Trust me, it was not easy. But I'm happy that finally we are here today. And I want to take this opportunity and thank MSA for giving Tom and the team our name as Soweto Drift to consider for this part, so that you can also showcase what in the townships people are doing with these cars. And I was also honored at some point to have Genaro at our academy, with the IS to come and teach him how to spin.
That was fun, eh?
Yeah, so we have been in the game for a while. Unfortunately, what has been difficult for us is to break into this kind of platforms. And with Tom and the team and MSA, I think now that will actually eventually become a reality and bring the spinners to Kyalami, because that is the ultimate dream, say, for the spinners to actually participate on. So these first 6 spinners that we're going to bring on the 22nd are just that drop in an ocean of what we have throughout the country. So I'm excited as Soweto Drift representative that we are the ones that actually are bringing that good story into this space.
Fantastic, Pule. Yeah, it's exciting times. Just to reiterate what you're saying as well, from a motorsport point of view, if you haven't been following motorsport in South Africa, just to let you know that circuit racing kind of got to a situation where there was a little bit of a down slope and a downhill until, of course, Kyalami kicked back in and everybody started to put in plans in place and get the circuit up and running. And, of course, all the other circuits around the country started to do a similar thing. But if you went to a drifting or a spinning event, the crowds get to between 10 and 15,000 people standing around about a car park the size of the one just behind us here. So if you think about what their ability is to pull people, this is exactly what this event is looking to. It's bringing in people that have never been to a Kyalami Grand Prix circuit event before, and it's going to create brand new fans, I think, as well. So Pule and your team, I wish you all the very best, and I know you're going to put on a great show. Yes. I'm particularly looking forward to Kayla, because I believe she's one of the best drifters in the country.
Yes.
Genaro, you were mentioned in that, so I'm going to hand over to you, sir, if I don't mind. Genaro Bonafede, ladies and gents, for those who don't know, multiple saloon car champion, multiple karting champion, has done a bit of off-road and rally as well. And, of course, because this is an entertainment thing, I have to mention the fact that he's also a world-renowned DJ. And I don't know if the team that are involved in the entertainment side realize that he's on the ones and twos on occasions as well. So if we get him out the car in time, Adam, we could possibly get him a slot into that entertainment factor on Friday and Saturday night.
You need to make it happen.
Okay, so is he too expensive? Oh, he's a little bit more expensive than black coffee. So we might have to find him a space. But G, over to you, Big.
You'd do it for free.
For sure, and hands down.
Over to you, G.
Yeah, so again, Honourable Mayor, great to be here, and thank you very much again to the Kyalami and our team. This year, to join our friends overseas, I've been racing in Spa 24 hours, so we went over there to race with BMW, which was fantastic. And then I actually just landed this morning from Barcelona, so I was racing in Barcelona with Jordan, actually. We were battling out on track on Sunday. So I just think from my side it's an honor to be here. And I think the people of South Africa, being in motorsport for many years, don't actually realize what's coming. I think even as motorsport lovers, as motorsport people in the industry, the amount of professionalism, the amount of attention to detail we've never ever seen in South Africa for maybe 20 years since the Formula One was actually in the 90s. And that for me is something paramount to South Africa. And I'm glad the city of Johannesburg are on board and involved, because this is something like the FIFA World Cup. Exactly. It really, really is. I mean, the teams are coming out with, for example, when I raced at Spa, we were one privateer team from Belgium. We had 9 mechanics, we had 5 or 6 engineers just on the car alone, never mind the support staff in and around the team. So we had 20, 25 people for one car, and there were 70 cars on the grid. So that just shows you the experience and the amount of expertise needed. And I think this weekend again in Barcelona, I saw, wow, those guys are good. These pro drivers are something really, really special. And the fact that we have a whole handful of South African pro drivers in the race is fantastic. And it just shows the amount of talent and the amount of real professionalism that we have in this country that needs to be explored around the world. And I think that's basically this perfect opportunity for us to do that.
Genaro, you mentioned the fact that there are some South African teams, and of course Adam didn't get to that, but we did see them up there, and you'll see them in your press package. You've got Team Perfect Circle, basically living a dream of 3 unprofessional drivers. They're basically amateur drivers and being part of the amateur pro section of the race. You've got Pablo Clark Racing, and you've also got Stradale Motorsport that have entered. Genaro and, of course, Jordan there, and Mr. Van Linde as well. So it's really exciting from South Africa's point of view for motorsport in general, G, is to have a local link to the track. You know, every time we've had an international here, we've always tried to ensure that there's some kind of a wild card on track for the South African fans to shout and put their South African flags up for.
Sure, I mean, you go to this and we have 3 South Africans that are in pro teams. So Sheldon van Linde with a pro BMW Schnitzer team. You got Calvin van Linde with a pro BMW Audi team, sorry. And you got Jordan in the Bentley team. So they've been racing the last few years as professionals. Then I'm proud to announce that I'll be racing in the Volcanhorst BMW team. So we've got a second car, so we'll be really, really happy.
Well, that's awesome. I think that deserves a round of applause.
Yeah, thank you. I think to be involved in a team that's a professional team from Germany that's coming here is again something incredibly proud, and again to have South African teams entered is fantastic. But don't be mistaken, these pro drivers are phenomenal, and give them 5 laps around here and they'll know exactly where they're going. I think genuinely a South African advantage here is slim to none, because again seeing it this weekend, the guys just are on it. From lap 2, it's phenomenal. They'll do a track walk on the Thursday probably, and they'll know every inch of the track. So that's going to be something that's really, really impressive. And to have over 100 drivers, I would think, it's really, really special.
Well, talking about pro drivers, Jordan, over to you, bud. I know you're pretty excited to get out here and get back to South Africa. You've been away for a couple of weeks. You back and forth every now and again. We catch you at motocross events and circuit racing events. But I'm sure you're very excited about bringing your team over and showing what you've got. We're just getting a quick selfie there with G as well.
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for letting me be a part of this press conference. Sorry I couldn't be there personally. I tried my best to get back, but it just didn't work out with a few commitments. But yeah, super excited. Obviously, the last time I raced in South Africa, I was still a 15-year-old boy racing Pole Cup, which is actually our support series. And the last ever race I did was at Kyalami, so it's really cool, a couple years along the line, to come back finally as a professional driver. I chased the dream, that's why I left the country that I love so much, to move overseas to Europe, to chase the dream and finally become a factory driver, which I achieved in 2017. And then, yeah, it's been a whirlwind experience since then, and it's always been a dream of mine to return to South Africa and obviously be a part of an amazing event. And when I heard the rumors a year and a half ago that it was happening, for sure we were 100% behind it. And I can't thank the people enough there, from the Kyalami 9-hour organization to Toby Fenter, who has been super helpful, not only getting the event going, but obviously bringing back international motorsport in the form of Kyalami. And yeah, it's just going to be one of those events that I think is going to be super cool, going to have all the home support. And as G touched on, obviously the level in international racing is so high right now that you can't put any mistakes, like nothing can happen, nothing can go wrong, and every driver is at the absolute best. So it's going to be tough, but obviously having the home support and hopefully many thousands of South African flags waving in the crowd give us the home advantage. And yeah, it would just be super cool at the home of South African Motorsport to stand on the top step of the podium to end off the year. That's the dream, but now just to be a part of the event is something special.
Jordy, we can't wait for you to make that a reality, but we'd like to see all of you up there. Just to mention the fact, Jordan mentioned Volkswagen Polo Cup, and of course now known as Falcon Polo Cup. Jordan is an ex-champion. Genaro is an ex-champion. Michael Steven is a 3-time champion in that category, also part of one of the South African teams. And of course you heard from Adam that it is part of the support show on track. And Volkswagen Polo Cup, unfortunately Mike was not able to be here, but it is the longest standing single make formula in the country, and has had a long-standing relationship with its partners that is almost in record-breaking sponsorship achievements as well. So to have them as part and parcel of it, I think is fantastic. And when you look at the likes of both the Van der Linde boys, Jordan, Genaro, I did mention Michael Stephen, and I'm just thinking Lee Thompson as well, who's also part of one of the teams that will be racing here for the South African aspect. All of them have come out of our support category here in South Africa. So it shows that even at grassroots level and at national championship level in our circuit racing, we have the ability that these gentlemen that are sitting here with us, and of course that are overseas, and that are getting ready for the 9 hour, have shown the rest of the world that we can go out there and beat them. So, G, back to you just to say, from the grounding that you got there, how awesome is it to have the Polo Cup as part of this this event?
Yeah, phenomenal. I mean, like you said, a lot of us we started our grassroots in Polo Cup from go-karting. The first step was Polo Cup. And for me at the age of 16, Jordan, I think probably the age of 15, I think Sheldon at 14, not even allowed to drive a car on the roads yet, but we were thrown into a race car, and it's always got a soft spot in my heart. I think it's a phenomenal series. It's run really, really well by Volkswagen. They're a brand that puts a lot of effort and money into motorsport, and at grassroots level, it's what we need. And it proves that across the world, if you can drive a Polo Cup car, you can race pretty much anything.
I think that's exactly what it's all about. Now, there are a couple other cars that were mentioned out there. The one that wasn't mentioned throughout the presentation, of course, is one that's closest to the man, closest to me. And I do believe there is a huge contingent of Porsche coming here, including Team Perfect Circle, with an incredible story behind that as well, where the sort of three gentlemen that will be driving there, Franco Scribanti, Silvio Scribanti, and of course Mr. Andre Besaidnote will also be having something there as well. So it's incredible to see how things have turned around. And now, as we get into the closer time to this, of course, everybody is now getting excited about the brands being involved. Toby, you must be pretty excited to have the brands like Porsche, Bentley, Ferrari, Lamborghini, all coming here to race at your circuit.
It's absolutely an incredible representation of international teams. One team that we didn't mention is a Porsche team from Lechner Racing with Saul Hack. Saul Hack has been racing in Super Cup this year, and they will also be coming with a very powerful lineup. So they entered into the silver class, so that's very exciting. Timo Bernhard is also coming with his team, and we're a bit torn because we wear three hats: Porsche, Bentley, and Lamborghini. But it's also interesting to looking at Jordan there. Jordan is part of the Bentley team, and Bentley has a very rich history of South African contributions. As most of you might know, the Bentley boys, the famous Bentley boys that won Le Mans in the 20s 5 times, was headed up by none other than a chap by the name of Barney Bonato, Wolf Bonato. Barney Bonato, his father, made the money on the Kimberley diamond mines, and this funded the Bentley racing. And another South African, Brian Gush, has headed up Bentley Motorsport for the last 17 years, I think it is. And he's going to be a guest, so he's coming here, and it's always his dream to come back to Kyalami. So yeah, we've got strong Porsche representation, Bentley factory team. And we got Lamborghini. I don't think we got a Lamborghini factory team yet, but we're still trying to work to get a factory team. Yeah, so it's as we've just heard, GT racing is absolutely on the limit. But I did neglect earlier on to just tell you the story of how Kyalami was introduced to the SRO organization. Stephane Ratel, who's the driving force of SRO, is a personal friend of Fernando Rueda. Fernando, you might know from rally days. He rallied in South Africa for many years. And without that personal connection of Stephane and Fernando, this wouldn't have happened. As you all know, to get motorsport on an international basis costs a lot of money. And Stephane came to the party and made it affordable. So Fernando, thank you for your contribution. And so this is all going to happen on the 23rd of November, and it's going to kickstart the whole idea, for having an international race is to kickstart local motorsport again and to inspire your guys as well. Jody Scheckter being our world champion. We also mustn't forget that South Africa has got two of the most famous Formula One designers of all time. Rory Byrne is legendary in Michael Schumacher's victories. And Gordon Murray designed all the legendary Brabhams and McLarens, very famous. So we mustn't forget the contribution of those guys in the South African motorsport legacy. And Kyalami will be honouring those, Gordon Murray and Rory Byrne at some stage, like we've honoured the drivers. So yeah, it's great excitement. It's going to be something very special. Tom and Adam and the team are really spiced it up with a lot of other entertainment and flavours. But I don't think we must underestimate the Pan-African television coverage that we're going to have. So we're not only going to bring international motorsport back to South Africa, we want to bring international motorsport and motorsport in general to Africa. And I know Formula One is desperate to have an African event. And we're waiting, and they have been to visit Kyalami. All we need is some money, but maybe after this event kicks off, they can see the benefit from a global exposure situation and the potential of an African continent lying there waking to be motorsport enthusiasts. So very exciting.
We can't have a world championship unless there's an event on African soil, so it's got to make it happen, eh? Yeah. Adam, hopefully you've got some kind of input there as well, but I know that you guys have been working frantically. Are there any surprises that could be heading our way just before we get in, or are you going to keep that so we can put them out there on social and everybody finds out about them? Lastminute.com.
I think we're going to keep a few surprises. We've got to keep you on your toes. We don't want you getting lazy. The one story I want to give, I'm not going to try and compete on the motorsport knowledge side of it all. My background is predominantly from football. If you want some soccer stories, you can meet me afterwards. We'll have a good chat. But Genaro, I'm going to give a story on this guy. One of the things we're doing around the 9 hours, we've actually already got events running in the space, which is esports. Now, esports is something, whether you like it, love it, hate it, is happening. It's bringing relevance to a mass of young people that is pulling them into this space. The first time I met Genaro, I believe I had a massive influence on his ability to get a seat in the Spa 24 hours and do so well in the race itself, because we put him into one of our sim cars at the ATK Arena, and within 30 seconds of downloading the new track and the new game, which Assetto Corsa, he was racing around the Spa track. He phoned us a few weeks later to tell us he's got a seat and he's actually going to be racing that car that he raced in the simulation at Spa. We've been running esports now, and we've got a GT Intercontinental Challenge that has been going on in the background. BMW has supported this with us as well quite strongly. Comic-Con, Rage, we've had 30 qualifiers going on, and we are going to be holding a tournament that will happen here, drawing the event in November as well. So again, I think from our side, just another idea and maybe a side story of how we're trying to get people involved and how we're trying to push the boundaries of what is motorsports is about. I think I've probably upset some of the old school motorsport guys in the room, but it's the future, and the future is happening right now.
Well, Adam, just to add to the G, if you don't mind, our current development driver that is part of the Volkswagen development team, Jonathan Mahotsi, started as a PlayStation driver and is now a fully fledged Volkswagen Motorsport-backed driver here in South Africa. G?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You know, it's funny with motorsport. I think between flying and motorsport, they're the only two simulators that you can use that are actually relevant to the sport that you do and the activities that you do. And you know, if you play FIFA on PlayStation, it's your hand controls. If you play Dota, it's your eyes and on your arms. But in flying simulator and in a racing simulator, it's the exact same action that is taking place in the sport as well as in esports. And I know Jordan sitting there in Germany, they between him, Calvin and Sheldon, they've got an insane simulator setup which they use every day to practice. I mean, these guys are professional drivers, but they are honing their skills. every day on a simulator rig. And I think between Pule and I, we need to discuss, and with Adam, and this is a table to talk about the development of finding new future racing drivers. And it has to come from esports. The barrier to entry is minimal from a financial perspective. I mean, motorsports barrier to entry is high. But from an esports simulator perspective, it's low. To get guys into a simulator to learn, males, females, young kids, old, doesn't actually matter. And I think that's where we need to look at the future of South African motorsport. How do we find the drivers of the future at a low accessibility point? Genuinely, I think that's something we need to...
I think we should put the challenge out there. I think that's...
Yeah.
We should see somebody coming out of esports stimulators into go-karts, into spinning, into a GT. And when we get Formula One here, let's have our first Formula One driver from South Africa sat in one of those cars.
Be fantastic.
You
Now,
know?
what I can also just share with everyone is that very recently Kyalami was laser measured,
for the game.
and Assetto Corsa. It started with a conversation at Spa 2 years ago with Fernando and I. We met the managing director, or the CEO of Assetto Corsa, and the balls started rolling. So Kyalami will be on all these esport games in the future.
I did check with the team though. They're not releasing it before the race, so that's good. I said to them, don't release it. We need as much advantage as we can. It's a little bit of advantage. So they're not only going to release it after the race, which is, I think, on the day they're going to have it.
Yeah.
But for the pros, they must stay away from Kyalami for now.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, open it to the floor. If anybody's got any questions, please just feel free to put up your hands and we'll get a mic to you. There you go. Rog, you're going to come through there. There's our first question.
Just a quick question. What's the total entry, the number of cars, and how many cars will have... Okay, sorry, what's the total number of entries of the cars? Is it 30, 40,
This stage
whatever?
it's 30 cars, but we are hoping to get additional cars. The entries have closed, but 30 cars, is that the right figure, Megan? 30 cars at the moment. Is there any chance of getting any more cars? Maybe two more. Yeah.
And Toby, how many will have South Africans driving in the teams? How many South Africans basically are represented?
About 15.
15.
Well, there's
five.
five
There's
teams. Yeah.
Five. Six.
Yeah, so there's okay.
yeah.
So we can go through this. We can go Sheldon van Linde, Calvin van Linde, Jordan Pepper, then myself, then the three Perfect Circle guys.
Then
Then there's
Saul
Sol Hack. Then there's David Perel in the Ferrari.
Yes.
In the Ferrari
Pablo
Rinaldi
Clark
Racing.
Racing.
Yeah.
Pablo Clark Racing with
And
some more
Stradale
local entries.
Motorsports.
And Stradale Motorsports. And something that I can also share now, which I don't even know if I'm allowed to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. I'm saying it. In the Volcanos car, my teammate actually will be Michael van Rooyen, who races in GTC for Toyota
Fantastic.
Gazoo Racing. So another professional South African driver at the highest level will be sitting next to me. So we're going to be in the Pro-Am class, it looks like. So, yeah, quite a lot
And
of
Lee
South African.
Thompson.
And Lee Thompson, yeah, it's
And
part
Lee
of the
Thompson.
Pablo Clark Racing. Yeah.
Yeah, Rog, I think if
16
I
or so.
remember correctly, it's the five that Genaro has mentioned. Then you've got Lee Thompson, Michael Stephen, and Kish Patamba. That's one team. It's Franco Scribanti, Silvio Scribanti, and Andre Besaidnote. And then the Stradale Motorsport team, I'm not quite sure who's making up that team, but I would just say it's Greg Mills, Craig Jarvis,
and Charlotte.
and Charles Orangis. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So those are them.
16
16 drivers in total from South Africa, which is fantastic for this event.
out of 90.
We have another
that's
question at the back.
Out of 90, yeah.
Hi there. Can you tell us who the Pablo Clark drivers are?
It's Kish Patamba, Michael Stephen, and Lee Thompson.
Thanks very much.
It's in the prac though, so all your information is there, but just for want of ease of use here. Any other questions from the floor? Please feel free. There's one. Thank you kindly.
Afternoon. With the massive numbers that are coming through, what arrangements are being made in terms of the transportation and everything? As we've seen from events like the Delicious Fest, they've made arrangements with Gautrain for people to have less traffic. Is there something like that happening for this one too?
Adam, I'd like to.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the key operational elements for us. We're going to be bringing in excess of 45,000 people on any one day into the venue. We haven't got parking at the venue for the event because of the nature of the event. We're not able or allowed to general public into the Grand Prix circuit. So it means that we do have to do park and rides. People have got the ability to be dropped off. There will be road closures. We're working with the city around the operational delivery of that to make it as smooth and efficient as we can for people. People are going to have to be patient. It's like any major international event. You're not going to get in within 5 minutes. It is going to take time. We're working with Phil Prinsloo and his group, IATU, around the health and safety and the transportation side of it there. Extremely experienced company, extremely experienced individuals that we're partnering with in delivering this. So we're very confident that we're going to have the right solution in place. The likes of Mall of Africa, various other locations within Johannesburg, going as wide as the East Rand into Sandton, the city, etc., will be options for people. Will be options for people to be able to get on into park and rides and come in. We will put the plan up. It is an additional ticket that people can purchase. There's Uber, obviously, is available within that space, and other transportation where we'll be allowing drop-offs within those road closure spaces. Like I said, patience. We're going to make it as smooth and as easy as we can. We're going to make sure that people are informed. We're going to make sure that people are safe. We're going to make sure that the cars are safe within those spaces, and hopefully it will go without a hitch. But we rely on the people coming to work with us. That's the reality of major international events.
Yeah, and I must just add our thanks to the city in this regard. They've rolled out, given all the cooperation, rolled out all the stops to make it happen smoothly. So thank you for that.
Naresh Maharaj here. Firstly, congrats. I think we've waited a long time for something like this. What type of TV audience, Adam, if you can take it, are we talking about externally?
Right.
And in South Africa as well?
Okay, well, we're extremely excited about the media link-up that we managed to do with the events. I think just before I step to the TV audience, we're also working very closely with 94.7 from a radio point of view. We've had some fantastic content from them. We took a couple of their DJs and content providers to Spa, and we've got Prix tune in, listen up. It's building a story to the event as to what people should expect and what the excitement is. Supersport have absolutely come to the table with us. We've got 18 hours of live coverage. That's going to be broadcast pan-Africa. There's, I think, 3 African countries that are excluded, but again, that will be within the press pack, so you'll be aware of exactly where it's going. We've got a huge amount of advertising material that's going out there that's part of the package with Supersport. I apologise now. Within the next few days, when you turn on your TVs, you're going to be seeing Kyalami 9 hour every time you tune into Supersport. I think we've been very lucky that it's hit the same time as the Rugby World Cup, which will hopefully get a few more eyeballs on there for us. It's a year one event. It's something we're building up. The agreement that we signed with Supersport is for 3 years. So we're going to be having 18 hours of live motorsport for 3 years, back to back. And we want to pump the content out there. We're very conscious that 9 hours of racing is the pinnacle. You know, people are going to be tuning in to see the likes of these guys here put their lives at risk, going at stupid speeds around corners and doing something that you wouldn't find me doing. But we can watch them on TV do it and feel like we're there with them. Outside of that, we really want to push the content of South Africa, Kyalami, you know, the content we're putting out there. So we're going to be working with a lot of partners to really try and make that interesting content. I'm not avoiding the direct question. I just don't want to. It's a first-year event. I haven't got historical figures where I could tell you we got 9 million of viewerships. But in the formulas that we've done and we've worked on, we've got about 200 million rands worth of media spend that is going to be happening leading into this event with Supersport. So they really are a big partner with us.
Any other questions? There you go. Can we just get it? There we go. After you, sir. Yeah, you got the mic. You just pass it on when you're done.
Good afternoon. My name is Mike. My question is directed to Mr. Pule EM. Are we going to see any of the female spinners on the day of the event? And then what does this opportunity mean to you as the CEO of the SDA and your team members as well?
Oh, okay, thanks very much, Mike. Unfortunately, in spinning, there has been a few ladies that have been participating. But yes, there will be one. She's phenomenal. Her name is Kayla. She's from Kimberley. I had to import her from Kimberley because she's that good. She's that good. I know that some of you guys here in the house might have known there is one lady called Stacy from El Dorado Park, which she has been doing very good for spinning globally. You know, she even appeared on Hype Drive. And they were also at my venue, by the way, at the FNB Stadium at the Academy with Charlene Theros doing part of the shoot. So unfortunately, she's not around. She's in Pakistan now. She's spinning in Pakistan. So you can see that spinning really is making inroads. But the reality of it is that there is no support for it. And you mentioned that it pulls numbers. It does pull numbers. But those numbers, those 15,000, 10,000 people, whenever they come to our events, believe you me, our events are not funded, are not sponsored, are actually monies that are coming from our own pockets as promoters. So I think you spoke of a development, if we can look at an approach towards that, because these guys who spin cars, they don't have simulators whatsoever. They're just pure talented drivers who does amazing things. And for me, as Soweto Drift, to be here and speak on their behalf, you know, it's actually an opportunity that I've never envisioned it happening, but I've been working so hard for the past 10 years with a vision or with a faith that it will happen one day. And I know for a fact that as much as we don't have a lot of females that will be participating in this top 6 that we have chosen now, but in the next one that will happen, we will have more, because under Soweto Drift, we have a program that we call Spinale Pima Girls. Spinale Pima Girls is actually a program that we created as Soweto Drift to train females how to spin. So far, we have trained about 6 of them. They will be here during the activation. However, they will not compete, but they will be given an opportunity to can demonstrate what they have been learning all along. But the ones that will be competing, it's Kayla from Kimberley and the other 5 guys, which 2 is from Limpopo. The name is King Kadra, the other one is Eddie Boy. And then the other one is from Soweto, we have Msotu, and then we have another guy called Wotima Lome. And then in Nigel, we have a guy called Vijaro. All of these guys, they're better spinners that you can think of, you know. So the security and the safety, I know it's in point, because we do crazy things, but we do crazy things with experience. So whatever that you will see, trust me, it's not going to endanger your lives whatsoever, as long as the barriers are in place and so forth.
I've got a question for Jordan. Buddy, are you ready to go and do some spinning? I think we should get involved. Go and do some spinning, learn how to spin. Maybe Kayla can teach you.
Yeah, I tried to enter last weekend in Barcelona. I attempted to spin, but as you saw, I went off slightly, but yeah. It's quite cool. I played both actually for spinning. That's an aspect that I touched on, and I felt, I think it was Stacey back when I was involved in VW, doing a development program in VW pushing, and that's where Jonathan reported won his drive and stuff like that. And it's really cool to see that it's not just about on-track action as well as in the business with new aspects. So it's cool to see, and I'm sure if you have the time and stuff, I'll definitely want to go over there and go my support.
Let's go and watch, for sure.
Well, I think the other thing about spinning is that you need to have the right car. Which is the Kusheshe. Yeah, which is the Kusheshe. So that is the car that we will be using. All the guys, well, they are modified. Most of their cars, they are not standard engines anymore, like when they were manufactured by BM. They are modified. Others have Lexus V8. Others have got the M60 V8s, you know, multi-valve engines.
And definitely something to be excited about. There's no doubt about it.
Exactly, yeah.
We had another question at the back there, sir.
Just back to the coverage. Is there a live stream?
Yeah. Yes, there is. We're still, yeah. There are. It's going out on multimedias. We've got live streaming that will be going out. We've obviously got our Facebook page that will be streaming out. we focused on the African and the Pan-African side of it with Supersport. This is the final of an intercontinental challenge. It's going out globally. So there is global TV. The broadcast from here is going to be carrying on to networks around the world, not just within Africa.
Yes, sir.
Are there going to be in-car cameras for TV viewers?
I'm going to look to Lizelle because I know we have had the conversation, and the answer is yes.
Yeah.
It was a live conversation last week, but I think we can now confirm we will have in-car.
Aiming for the South Africans that are racing in the international, South African drivers for the international teams, and have participated in the Intercontinental GT this year so far.
Yeah. I mean, for us, it's about content. You know, we really, I think I've said it enough times today, we really want to build content, and we want to get that content out as wide as we can on a global stage. And we've got a 10-year track. We want to get this to the point that within year 2 and year 3, we are the go-to viewers for motorsport and events within this space. That's what we're looking to.
So you can ask that be the last question, please, because we do have to wrap up.
Jordan, how about organising your sister a drive?
It's quite tricky, and tomorrow's known it quite well. Working really hard, get yourself right. I think TAF might participate in Polo Cup as a supporter chip, but yeah, maybe not in year 1, but hopefully get to some sort of international performance team like this taking over around the world. So yeah, from my side, I know that the championship has, in the last 2 years, grown immensely. It's the first year I've participated in the whole thing. It started in Bathurst in February, and it's something cool to end up in November at home, just 10 minutes down the road from where I live. So I definitely think it's going to go for what the manufacturers are really excited about. Stephane and Ratel makes their own really up, and I think Kyalami, as long as you get there, make sure that nothing's complicated, get the plans, support, make the event successful. I don't see why it's not going to come. And knowing GT3 in this 10, it's definitely a growing market. It's the only platform that has grown from its inception until now. Look at the model like GT3. They only have now 6 factory cars for the World Championship, where we up to 20, 30 factory guys racing at Spa, for example. This event is immense, but yeah, it's something that's growing, and it's good to have South Africa on the calendar and more talented drivers can go into the championship. It's nice. I love competing against all the guys. I live with them, so we push each other forward. It's just something that's super good to see all of us participating in.
Fantastic, Jordan. Thank you. Once again to our panel, thank you very much. I know the mayor's on quite a tight schedule, which is why we're going to wrap things up. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for your time and for spending the morning with us. Your worship, for all your time. Before you leave, though, I just want you to just get a photo as well and give Fernando, Toby, and our panel a chance to also sign the wall. You got in first, though. Make sure you get in first. Eh? Just remember that, eh? All right. So we're going to ask our panel if you wouldn't mind just stepping across there, just get a group shot together, and then just if you guys wouldn't mind signing the wall as well. And then on behalf of the 9-hour team, thank you so much for your time. We will see you in a few weeks' time, 21st to 23rd of November here at Kyalami. From the Voice of Choice, we'll see you soon. Take care then. Bye-bye now.